I can't recommend the Law Training Centre highly enough. I feel that my progression and the pace that I've been able to qualify in is a reflection of the Law Training Centre and the tutors that work there. I felt so supported by the tutors, even though it was distance learning, even though I've never laid eyes on them. I could pick up the phone, I could email them, and they were so responsive and so supportive. And it was their guidance that allowed me to progress quite quickly. Hi there, so I'm Rachel and I'm a newly qualified property lawyer from Greater Manchester. I trained as an accountant and was a newly qualified accountant in 2011 and spent the first part of my career as a management accountant working at big familiar brands like Ferrari and Maserati. After bringing up my young family, started to work for a firm of solicitors as their management accountant. And after a few years there, one of the partners asked if I was interested in starting a role in conveyancing. When I first started working in the legal profession, it was as a management accountant within a firm of solicitors. I was approached by a partner after a few years of working there, and they asked if I wanted to start a role which would incorporate some post-completion conveyancing work. I thoroughly enjoyed conveyancing and being involved in property law, so decided that this would be a changing career that I would be interested in taking. So I now handle my own caseload and have done so for 2.5 years. So I deal with all aspects of property transactions, buying, selling property, remortgaging houses, property transfers, and I carry out this work from start to finish. So I deal with every aspect from opening a client's file straight through to completion. I discovered the CLC route to becoming a qualified property lawyer. I was so excited to find that I could encompass a degree level qualification without having prior legal qualifications. So I decided to go for the CLC route, and I did the CLC level 4, quickly followed by CLC level 6, and I've just finished my last exam, so I'm now a qualified property lawyer. So this direct route into becoming a qualified property lawyer made sense to me because I could focus on the exact area of law that I want to specialise in. This particular pathway was great for me because I've got a young family and I work as well, so being able to adapt to my own commitments both inside and outside of work and study from home, work from home within my own time and at my own pace meant that this route was so much more appealing. I think if I'd have gone down the traditional route of attending university and sticking to the format of, say, 4 years, that would have slowed me down, whereas being able to work at my own pace really benefited me because my pace is quite quick. I managed to complete the whole level 4 and level 6 in just 18 months. Challenges, I think, was more of my preconceptions to what the course would entail. Writing dissertations and academic writing was something that I wasn't familiar with, particularly having previously qualified as an accountant. I'm obviously used to working with numbers, but those preconceptions were dealt with by the Law Training Centre because before I signed up, they reassured me that they have academic writing workshops if I wanted to attend those, and that there was a lot of support and guidance about the writing aspect of it and making sure that you can write a bibliography when you've never written one before. I have a lot of other personal commitments. I have a young family, I work in property law, but I'm also chair of governors for my daughter's school. So I have really been balancing studying with a lot of other things. For me, it was the pre-recorded lectures that allowed me to balance it properly because I could just do it in my own time. If I found a particular lecture difficult or challenging, I could just pause it, come back another day and start again, or just carry on where I left off. Flexible learning online for me has meant that I could work at my own pace and work and study as and when it suited me. If I was away on holiday, I didn't need to do anything. There was no commitment to a set time. I could just do it as and when I please. If I've got a day off work, I could study all day, or what I tend to do was study in the evenings when my children were in bed. I found the Law Training Centre directly from the CLC, Council for Licensed Conveyancers website. When I was first looking into how I could qualify as a property lawyer, I looked at their recommended providers, and the Law Training Centre were top of the list. I did a little bit of research, looked at their website and looked at all the opportunities that they give you, the resources and the content of the programme, and obviously other people's feedback. The learning resources from the Law Training Centre are all held on a portal, so you can access pre-recorded lectures, and at the end of a lecture there's a quiz, which again is so helpful because you can immediately see if that lecture has made sense to you, have you grasped it, do you know what you're doing, and do the quizzes. It would instantly mark them, and then you can tick it off and move on to the next one. I was apprehensive about the online learning format because it isn't something I'm familiar with, but when I first got access to the Law Training Centre's portal, found my way around it, I realised that actually this is really useful, this is so helpful, and it's great that you can just access it any time of day, anywhere you like. You can use an iPad, you can sit at a desktop, you can use it at work if you needed to log in and check things whilst you're at work. It's just fundamentally a great system. Training and developing with the Law Training Centre has allowed me to progress to a qualified property lawyer within such a short period of time due to their amazing resources, and I expect that their ongoing support throughout the qualification will not just end here. We've made friendships, there's a great deal of support from the Law Training Centre and the peers around that. I expect that post-qualification, if I needed them for anything, I could go back and get back in touch with them. If you're thinking of studying the CLC qualification to become a property lawyer with the Law Training Centre, I would highly recommend it, and I would just say stop thinking about it, get on with it.